This week, we're talking World Cup, Stanley Cup, NBA Finals, looking at some of the new MLB 4th of July caps, plus Paul's Minor League Minute. It's episode 16 of the SportsLogos.Net podcast. I am Chris Creamer, joined as always by co-host podcast Paul Caputo. We are looking at the 2026 World Cup, which got underway this week. Yeah, it's come to North America. Something I never thought would happen is seeing a World Cup game in Toronto. Paul, what do you think about what's going on with the World Cup? The branding, the logo for the World Cup is a little bizarre, a little plain. I don't know if you've gotten a good look at it yet. It's certainly been plastered all around the region here in Toronto, that's for sure. I can't go anywhere without seeing it. It feels as though FIFA is heading towards a standardized World Cup template system, which would just be quite a shame for a tournament which is hosted by a lot of colorful countries. It'd be a shame to lose all those colors, especially in a tournament like this, right? Where it's three nations, you could really have a lot of fun with all those colors.
You can't beat a template for an international tournament. If the World Baseball Classic taught us nothing, it's that.
Exactly. See, that's a callback.
To a previous episode. Happy episode 16, the Bo Jackson episode, I have decided. I don't know if you have another 16, but the Bo Jackson episode.
Let's go. Brett Hull, Joe Montana.
See, you just have them
go
right
all
there on
day.
your fingertips. The World Cup, Chris, obviously that's the biggest thing that's going on in sports right now, except, of course, for the Phillies Marlins, with the Phillies up 5-0 right now in the, I don't know, like fifth inning. Aside from that, Chris, I will admit, I'm not much of a soccer guy, but I love having a sporting event. I love these international tournaments when there's games going on sort of at all hours. I do want to answer your direct question here. What do I think of the World Cup logo? In general, you know, the idea of templatizing it and making it more rigid and less creative, I object to. That being said, just standing on its own this year, you know, I don't mind it. I think, like you say, it's kind of plain, but to me, it feels like a league logo when all of the individual team logos should be standing out, right? Like the World Cup logo. It's okay if it's a little simpler, a little more sort of laid back. So the aesthetics of soccer in general is something that I'm enjoying, and I'm enjoying having the games on. And what I am finding, Chris, is that I have been reading the book Project Hail Mary, and it's real easy to read a book and then look up when the announcers get excited. Last night I was watching a game in Spanish. Couldn't understand a word that was being said. I understood a couple of words. But watching the game in Spanish, and then when they would start yelling, I would look up, and then, you know, I saw a couple of goals that way just because I could hear the tone. In general, I'm okay with the 2026 World Cup, and then I think it's interesting that it incorporates photographic imagery. Like, am I seeing that right? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, the trophy is a photograph, which is that's a decision.
Yes.
Right? Somebody made a decision.
Probably not easy to embroider, I would think, this logo.
Yeah, I don't even think there's embroidery anymore, right? Like they just sort of print a logo onto a patch and then
Yeah.
stitch the patch to something like that. It feels like I've seen some of the crests on these national team jerseys, and I don't think they're stitched on. Like they're not embroidered like they used to be.
Yeah.
Which is what I loved about owning a jersey. It was all those embroidered crests and everything. It just made it feel like it was important.
Yeah.
And we just don't have that anymore. But I guess that's what happens. That's progress. And I don't have to like it.
No.
It makes sense for players. It makes it lighter and it breathes easier and all that. But nuts to them. What about me?
It does look a little bit like Rocky, the rock-shaped alien's hand from the movie Project Hail Mary, now that I'm looking at it. Like, I zoomed in a little closer, and it kind of looks like an alien rock hand holding a baseball or something.
As you can tell, everyone, Paul is all in on Project Hail Mary this week.
I'm
Two
super all
references
in.
already. It was a good movie. Like well, me and the family saw it in theaters when it first came out. I read the book. It was the first time I read a book that a movie came out later for, and I got to see. So that was neat experiencing that.
Yeah.
And then we just purchased it on like I think Prime or something the other day, and we watched it again.
Is Prime
So, yeah,
sponsoring
we're
us?
big.
I hope we're getting money for
I
that.
I doubt it. Going back to the logo for a bit, yeah, I mean it's not the worst design in the world. Like you say, it does kind of feel like a league logo, but selfishly, as a Canadian, knowing this is probably the only time in my life I'm going to see a World Cup hosted by Canada in any way, shape, or form. I could see them with another United bid someday down the line, perhaps,
Mhm.
but I really wanted to see like put a maple leaf in there, make it a little red, some little nod to Canada on a World Cup logo. This is it for us, right? We're probably
Yeah.
not getting another World Cup here. I was very excited to see how they incorporated Canada into the World Cup logo, and then they just didn't incorporate anything. And it feels like, going forward, they're just not going to incorporate any national or host elements into any logo. You could easily see them change that 26 to a 30 for the next one, 34 for the one after that. Yeah, sure, there is some regional branding, but it's not the same, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
I'm not tuning into if I'm watching BBC or I'm watching, a TV channel in Asia or something, it's not Canadian branding on everything. It's not the Three Nations branding. It's just sort of this plain black logo with a picture of a trophy on it. I just wanted something more. That's all.
You did a really interesting thing on the site here, Chris, that I really enjoyed, which was you took the logos that were used in the bids for the countries that were bidding for the
Mm.
World Cup, and then you showed next to those what the actual logo ended up looking like. And look, I don't mean to be that guy, right? But in the three instances that I'm looking at, Russia, Qatar, and the current one, I feel like the bid logos were better than what they ended up with.
Almost always,
Yeah.
right? But the it's two different styles of design, and the Olympics are the same way,
Hmm.
and the Super Bowl as well, right?
Yeah.
So the bid logos are usually they're a lot more fun, they're a lot more colorful, they're a lot less standardized. There's no branding guidelines they have to follow. They can pretty much do whatever they want. It's basically that nation saying, "Here's what we want our representation to be to the world," and then in this case, FIFA steps in and says, "No, this is you."
Yeah.
And it becomes very serious and it becomes very kind of like corporate and kind of cold almost. You have to follow the standardization, with the Russia and Qatar examples you see on there. It's like, okay, well, now we have to put something in the shape of the trophy and the country name has to be underneath it in a certain way and it has to say FIFA in a certain style lettering and all that. Yeah, too many of these host logos in a row might look a little disjointed, I
Yeah.
think, but
Yeah.
they're certainly more fun. They're certainly more colorful. They're certainly more representative of that actual region.
Yeah.
Before you get to the real serious grown-up logo that FIFA introduces once the tournament's awarded.
I'll tell you, the more I sit with this 2026 logo where they actually landed, the less I like it. Like the photographic imagery against the, illustrative text. I don't like it, Chris. It's and maybe I'm just being the grumpy old man here, but it doesn't feel like a logo. It feels like a collage of some sort to me.
I want people who are listening to check the timestamp for when Paul went from "I like it" to "I don't like it." I think that what was it, 4 or 5 minutes. I can
I
convince anybody. I can sell you this pen, Paul.
I had not actually sat with it very much. But Chris, that's not the only news in the World Cup right now. There's some news about individual teams and their jerseys having gotten struck down by FIFA. Let's start with the Egyptians because that story is a little simpler, I think. The Egyptians had the wrong number of stars.
Well, yeah, they're supposed to have zero,
Right.
right? Yeah. So stars, for those who don't know, in the world, well, in soccer, stars represent championships, and Egypt has never won a World Cup championship. Shocker, right?
Weird.
But but they have won 7 African Cup of Nations championships. So they put 7 stars over their crest for the World Cup. FIFA came in and said, "Hold on, Egypt, get back to the pyramids. You need to get rid of some of these stars because you haven't actually won a World Cup. And when you come to our tournament, the stars represent how many times you've won this tournament, which is zero, which is oddly enough the shape of their crest is a big zero, right?
How about
So
that?
it makes sense. So Egypt, their game was Monday, which is when we're recording this.
Yeah,
and they were supposed to remove them before the game on Monday. Because I didn't hear anything about some sort of mass protest and Egypt getting disbarred and banned from the tournament,
right.
I imagine they just listened to what FIFA said. But I think I'm going to have to agree with FIFA on this one
Okay.
because this is the World Cup, and the stars on your crest should represent how many times you've won the World Cup, right? This is the granddaddy of all tournaments. This isn't your African Cup of Nations. This isn't CONCACAF or anything like that. You need there's a special prestige that comes with wearing a star in a World Cup championship, and you have to win the World Cup in order to wear a star above your crest. Now, if Egypt wants to celebrate as they should celebrate their 7 African Cup of Nations victories. That's something to be proud of. I've never won an African Cup of Nations,
Right.
so I would wear a star if I won one. Maybe incorporate that into the crest itself and call it a national symbol rather than putting it above the crest. Yeah.
So, like the United States then could
hmm
not do like a Stars and Stripes themed uniform because those stars aren't representing the US flag. They're representing the number of championships the United States has not won.
The U.S. has won 50 World Cup championships.
Wow. Well, that's really convenient then, so that we can put our
I,
flag right on there.
I think like a national symbol, if it's incorporated within the crest itself, right, that's one thing. If it's like sublimated into the jersey base, that's another thing. But this is like a soccer tradition where whenever you win a championship, you sew a star above your crest.
Yeah.
And that's what Egypt has done here. Like those 7 stars they're wearing, they're not part of the crest. They are
hmm hmm
distinctly separate. They're sewn above in the same way any country would celebrate their World Cup championship. So I get it, but I mean, like I said, if Egypt wants to celebrate this, fine, incorporate it into the crest itself, make it your official FA logo, and let's call it one big old loophole, and you can still celebrate your 7 stars and represent your country in the World Cup.
Well, until then, the stars on the Egyptian World Cup uniforms have been eaten by astrophage, and Ryland Grace could not get there in time to save them. I'm just going to keep doing it, Chris. This is just going to be
It's
the
fine.
Project
And
Hail Mary.
well, let's just say right now there's going to be some Project Hail Mary spoilers at some point in this episode.
Look, astrophage is there in like the first 5 minutes. It's okay. Uh, hey, there's another team, Chris, that had to do a uniform change. This is a little more complicated story, and I think we can sort of touch on the sort of cursory, high level things here, but there's a lot of history here that people are learning because of this story. But the Haitians were asked, or rather told, to change their uniforms here in the World Cup.
Yeah, I'm going to defer to you on this one, Paul, because I look at you and I see history major slash marathon runner. So I would like to see you explain to the world, tell us what is going on with these Haiti jerseys and why FIFA has such a beefa with these jerseys.
Well, Chris, as you know, I am the podcast's foremost expert on Haitian history, and the jersey, the original design that the Haitians had, depicted the final battle of the Haitian War of Independence in 1803, and FIFA, the arbiters of the FIFA Peace Prize, determined that the depiction of that battle, which doesn't show any actual violence, it shows silhouetted figures holding a flag aloft. That was deemed too political, and they were asked to take the 1803 battle, the 222nd anniversary of the 1803 battle that secured their victory over the country of France, Chris, which is you, I understand, have won a French speaking award in 7th grade, and I majored in
I
French in
have.
college. So this is deeply personal to the two of us here. That
Oui.
mais bien sûr. Yeah, the Haitians
What?
were asked by FIFA to take that off because it was deemed too political.
Well, the wounds are still fresh in France. Um, it's been 1803,
Yeah.
223 years.
Yes.
223.
Wow.
Whoa, right? I see FIFA's point with their blanket rule about
Yeah.
no political, religious, and personal messages on a jersey.
hmm
That makes sense to me. Is this a political, religious, or personal message? I don't
It
know. this feels like a country being very proud of its origins.
It feels like a historical fact, right? Like
Mhm.
the idea of a country celebrating its independence to me does not seem overtly political. Maybe it's the fact that they're showing the Haitians on top of the hill holding the flag up. Maybe the image itself had some political overtones.
What if they wrote "Suck it, France" on the flag?
That would have been political.
That's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
political. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not allowed.
Right. Except in French, it would have been Sucez-la.
Sucez la France.
Sucez-la, la France. I'm not sure that that's correct, actually. I apologize if it's
And,
not to all of our French-speaking
right.
listeners.
Yeah. Yeah. How many French-speaking listeners do we have? Oh, we have at least one. The one who watched that Quebec
Oh,
League
that's right.
off show. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The man who changed his name for us. Thank you, man.
No
I
longer.
don't really have anything more to say about this Haitian jersey. I feel like just personally, this doesn't feel like a political message. This feels like a country, a small country,
Yeah.
right, on the
Yeah.
global scale,
Right.
just being like, hey, look what we did, and we're proud of ourselves. That seems cool to me. I'm fine with it. There's no like he's not holding up the head of a French man or anything. It's very it's a nice image, He's holding up the flag triumphantly saying,
Right.
this is our land. What's
Yeah.
wrong with that?
There's no like baguette with a red line through it. All right. Well, Chris, we've got a lot else to get to here. I know that everyone's tuning in to hear all about this Haitian World Cup uniform, but there's other things going on in other sports. Listen, most people know this is probably not breaking news that the New York Knicks are the NBA champions and that the Carolina Hurricanes are the NHL Stanley Cup champions. So we're not going to break that news, but both of those championships happened since we last dropped an episode. I want to talk a little bit about championship merch because you are the world's foremost expert in logos and uniforms and sports design. And so I need to put this question to you as the world's foremost expert in logos and uniforms and sports design. Why is championship merch for the fans always so terrible? Why does it always look so ridiculous?
First of all, I dispute your assertion that I'm the world's foremost expert. I was just merely the first one to do it on the internet. I just got lucky. As for these championship merchandise, I think the problem lies in with the fact that this merchandise is designed months in advance, and it has to be designed in a way that it appeals to every single market possible and can be designed in a way that it works with every single logo, team name, color scheme. All you have to do is just swap out the logo and put the proper team logo in there. So that in itself lends to a very sort of bland, boring design. So that's why you have a lot of either the t-shirt's white, either it's gray, either it's black, because those are neutral colors. That's why there's not a lot of like local stuff on the shirt. It's just basically here's a picture of the trophy and here's the logo and here's some really lame slogan that has nothing to do with the team. And you and I were talking before the show about this, when I was watching the Dodgers celebrate on the field at the World Series last year, by myself pretty much. The stadium was almost empty.
Everyone
The
tiptoed out of
Dodgers
the
are,
room.
yeah, everyone's out of there. I'm sitting there with a few hundred other quiet, mournful people. But I looked at the t-shirts the Dodgers were wearing and I thought, oh, that would have been the shirt that I bought if my team won. And then one of the players turned around and there was a giant slogan on the back of the t-shirt.
Oh no.
And I thought, I wouldn't have bought that. I wouldn't want to have worn a shirt with a big giant silly slogan on the back. And I noticed when the Knicks won the other day, their t-shirts also had a big giant slogan on the back. Like it just
Mhm.
is this a thing that you and I have aged out of where you
Right.
giant slogans on the back of t-shirts? That's not my thing. I just want a nice simple thing. Put
Yeah.
the Stanley Cup on it with the team logo in front of it and the year around it or something. I'd be happy with that. It doesn't need
Yeah.
to be don't overcomplicate it, like
Yeah.
keep it simple, stupid.
Well, congratulations to Knicks fans and Hurricanes fans. Your prize is some really stupid looking championship gear.
Some of the other merchandise is great, but
Sure.
it's the stuff that they give the players as they're celebrating for the first time usually is quite lame.
Yeah, like the locker
Almost
room
every
caps
time.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm still a sucker and I still buy it.
Oh, of course. Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
part of the story, right? Like
yeah.
give me the Sports Illustrated football shaped phone with the Eagles Super Bowl logo on it, right? Like anything that says, my team won a championship, absolutely sign me up. So
I just want to point out that when I told my wife in the morning that the Knicks won the NBA championship, because who else am I going to tell? She goes, "Are they named for the New York Philharmonic?" And I thought that was fantastic.
that's a
And
great
I
question.
just, yeah, I just couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah,
I never even made that connection. The New York Philharmonics.
right.
No,
Just
honey, but that would be great if they were.
just like the Mets are named for that super fancy art museum there in New York.
Oh my gosh, we got a whole thing here.
Chris, speaking of sports players wearing sports things, we have the
That's the whole show.
oh, I see. Well, then that segue was not as good as I thought it was going to be. We have the 4th of July weekend caps that we have that you posted about on your site, and you've broken them down here. They're a little more in so much as anything regarding the 4th of July could ever possibly be understated. They're more understated than they have been in the past. They're not understated by any stretch here. The ways in which they are not understated, they did the thing that I find visually so distressing, which is they forced the U.S. flag into the outline of 29 of the 30 major league teams. They put a gigantic, sort of garish USA 250 patch on the side, which I wish said semi quincentennial, but it does not. And then they have different colored brims for the different colored teams. Why are the brims different colored? It doesn't seem to have anything to do with the color of that team's uniforms. They're either red or blue. What's the rhyme or reason here with the teams wearing different colored brims? Was it away teams and home teams?
Ooh, maybe it is. Well, that's worth looking up. I know
Huh.
in the past, because I sat down with New Era once and I asked them many years ago, how do you decide what's red, what's blue? And they say, we asked the team, and that's what they said.
Ah,
We want
okay.
red, we want blue. But it's worth looking into this whole home away thing. And of course, my team is the lone one to fight the power
Well,
to some extent.
I wanted to talk about this because this is funny. The Toronto Blue Jays, rather than having the stars and stripes, they just have their logo in red. But they still have a giant patch that says USA 250 on the side, which I think is funny. And I didn't see on your site, and maybe you've seen, maybe you know, but the caps on the inside have the U.S. flag on
Mhm.
on the inside of the front panel, and then established 1776 on the brim. Do the Blue Jays also have those details, or the Blue Jays did they get a Canadian flag in a different date that is not
You know,
1776?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised with either answer, to be honest. You know what? I'm going to look it up right now in real time. Paul, you do you know any songs? Can you tell a joke?
Chris, since this is an international themed episode, I'll ask you this question. If you
Okay, I
are
got the answer.
I'm going to finish this question though for you. Chris, if
Okay.
you, Chris Creamer, are Canadian when you
Mhm.
go into the bathroom and you're Canadian when you come out of the bathroom, what are you while you're in the bathroom?
I am a member of the European Union.
European.
The
Woo! That's the first time I've ever gotten to tell that joke to a Canadian though, so I had to
oh,
change some things up on the fly there.
there must yeah. Well, you had to add a few extra U's in there, and you had to convert it to metric.
That's right. European, Chris.
I am a peon. Everyone's a peon. The Blue Jays cap does indeed have a Canadian flag on the inside. It does not say established 1776, nor does it say established 1867.
Mm.
It's just blank on the bottom, but
Oh.
still has a red, white, and blue stripe on the front of the cap and a USA 250 patch on the side. I don't mind the players wearing this. Like, I know a lot of Jays fans are actually quite upset about it.
Yeah.
The Jays are playing in Seattle that day. They're going to be in the United States.
Okay.
It's the 4th of July. It's a special day in the United States. Let's not pretend it isn't. I don't mind that they're wearing this. This is us like being a respectful guest, I say.
Hmm.
And yeah, sure, we're not American, but yeah, this is a big day for you. And yeah, we'll take part in a way that, kind of pays tribute to both countries. Nobody in Canada is going to buy this cap, though.
I think you're probably right. Yeah.
Not a single person in Canada is going to walk around like they might buy it for the novelty of it.
Yeah.
And I know there are a few American Blue Jays fans. This might really appeal to them, right? Like they finally have a cap that, yeah, I'm American and I'm a Jays fan. What of
Yeah.
it? Here's my cap just for me. But what I do wish is that, since we do this when we go to the United States,
Yeah.
come on, guys, return
Yeah.
the favor.
Yeah.
When you're playing in like I'm not expecting like Kansas City versus St. Louis to wear Maple Leafs on July 1st. That's ridiculous.
Right.
But whoever's playing in Toronto on July 1st, just put a Canada flag patch on your hat or on your sleeve or whatever. It's all it takes. Yeah, a few teams have done it in the past,
Yeah.
but if we're gonna do it for you, do it for us.
Let me
Be
tell you this
cool,
too. I would buy a Phillies cap with a Canadian Maple Leaf patch on it. I think that would be super
right?
cool.
They did it once. The Phillies wore a Canadian flag 2007, I think. They wore a Canadian flag on the side of their cap when they played in Toronto on July 1st.
Did you know that the Phillies in 1944 and 1945 went by the nickname Blue Jays?
I sure did.
You did know that? Okay.
I did know that. It was a contest they had. They were thinking about changing their name, and it was won by a local Philadelphia. A woman won, and they sewed a Blue Jay patch on their sleeve, and it lasted all of 2 years,
Yeah,
and then it
44 and
was done.
45.
There was a while there in history where it was documented that that had been an official name change. Like if you
Yeah.
go back and look at an old baseball, Major League Baseball encyclopedia,
Yeah.
it says the Phillies were called the Blue Jays for 2 years.
How about that?
Um, but they have since revised the history and
Uh,
said, no, it wasn't official. And, I went back and found some old newspaper articles from the 1940s that said the same. They said this is not an official name change, it's just an additional nickname.
okay.
They were called the Philadelphia Blue Jays and the Phillies for 2 seasons in the mid 1940s, during which they won nothing.
Well, that's what the Phillies did for many decades of the our history there. Chris, I have one last question about this Stars and
Mhm.
Stripes Fourth of July thing here. The graphic that you compiled. First of all, the answer to our question is there are 14 hats with red brims and 16 with blue brims. So my away home thing does not pan out there. But 29 of the hats in this graphic have flat brims, and the Minnesota Twins have a curved brim. You're laughing because you wondered if anyone would notice. I wonder. I want to know how come that Twins hat has a curved brim.
Okay, I laugh because, yeah, when I put the graphic together, I thought, oh no, the Twins one has a curved brim, and somebody's going to point that out and it's going to bother me. This is so Major League Baseball provided the graphics to me a couple
Yeah.
days ago. That's the Twins one I got. I don't know why. I don't know why, but
That's too
I,
funny.
I, it was the only graphic I had for them
Yeah.
because I put this graphic together before they were released, so I didn't have the luxury of checking the MLB shop.
Sure, sure, sure.
But now I like it. It makes them stand out, and they're like almost right in the middle of the graphic too.
Yeah.
So it just
If I were a
it
Twins
catches your
fan,
attention.
yeah, I would like that. Hey, something else in Major League Baseball that is on the site, and you wrote about this earlier this month. The Lou Gehrig Day was June 2. There was a Lou Gehrig Day patch and some fundraising for ALS awareness. I don't know how much conversation this requires, but it's a lovely illustration of Lou Gehrig himself and some big bold typography. It's I don't know, as with a lot of Major League Baseball's patches, it feels like there's a lot going on in it, but the illustration itself, I feel, is shows him smiling with his chin in his hand, propped up on his knee. It's I don't know, lovely illustration of Lou Gehrig.
Yeah, it's a nice picture. It's better than what they used to use because they used to have him in a Yankees uniform, and I did not feel comfortable seeing
Mm,
a Yankees logo on every team's jersey.
yeah,
I
that's
thought it was
interesting.
especially like the Red Sox. The Red Sox
Yeah,
should never wear a Yankees logo on their uniform. That
sure.
is, come on, what are we
Yeah,
doing?
good point.
Lou Gehrig, thank you.
That's why
Lou,
you're the world's foremost expert on logos and sports design and uniforms.
and I won the seventh grade French award.
Wow.
Don't forget that.
Accolades all
Uh,
around for Chris Creamer.
oh man, you made okay. Lou Gehrig. I was going
Yeah.
to say Lou Gehrig is one of the few players that I am cool with MLB doing a league-wide celebration for. Like you got Lou Gehrig, you got Jackie Robinson, you got Roberto Clemente. That's a pretty solid legendary three right there. And I feel like that's a good place to stop, right? Like we
Hmm.
don't need any more. Those are some really high caliber human beings who all made a big impact in sports one way or another. And they all, died relatively young as well. So yeah, I feel there's nothing wrong with honoring Lou Gehrig here like this. They honor it on the anniversary of his death, which is interesting. But it's also the anniversary of when his streak began, I believe.
Oh,
So it's got a double meaning there.
yeah.
I did want to jump back, if you don't mind, back to this Fourth of July talk, just because we neglected to mention they're wearing stars and stripe colored numbers on their uniforms this year for the Fourth of July,
You're right.
which which is this. They used to wear special themed jerseys for all the holidays. It didn't last very long. I think it was like 2016 to 2018.
Hmm.
It was only maybe 2 or 3 years where they wore, blue uniforms on Father's Day, pink for Mother's Day. Then they just switched to doing caps only. But this year, yeah, they're bringing back a holiday themed uniform, probably because of the semi-quincentennial for
Very
the
good.
US.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've been practicing. I've been looking at myself in the mirror. But all teams are going to wear the same font, the same player name, the same player number, with a US flag pattern in the numbers, both
Okay.
front and back of the jersey. Front of the jersey where applicable. And
Okay.
all the teams will wear the player's name on the back in red block lettering. It does not matter the team's color scheme. The Pirates are going to wear red names on the back of their jersey. The Brewers are going to wear red names on the back of their powder blue jersey.
Mm,
It's going to look a little weird,
it is.
but it's just one day.
Yeah.
And again, this is another one that the Blue Jays have skirted out of, thankfully, because
Yeah.
that wouldn't have gone well.
I do like the sort of the experimental nature of like we're going to take this system and unilaterally apply it to every team and every color palette. And if the Oakland A's have to wear red on their uniform, then that's just so be it. That's what that's going to look like. The only objection about it is if I think about it too long and I think we've talked about this before, some amazing historical event is going to happen when they're wearing some super jarring version of their uniform and where it's going to forever be remembered in history in that uniform. The other thing that this makes me think too is like if they can do this on the 4th of July during the regular season, why can't we have green jerseys on St. Patrick's Day during spring training?
Right?
Right. Thanks,
Right.
Chris.
I'm right there with you on that one. And yeah, going back to you mentioned, these if we're going to have a big historic moment happen in a kind of an oddball uniform, what's his name? Yoshi Yamamoto from the Dodgers. He had a perfect game going the other
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
and then later a no-hitter. He
Yeah.
lost both of them.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
We
You know
all love
why?
Yoshi here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, first I know what you're going to say, but let me make my point first.
Sorry.
Uh, because they were playing the White Sox and they were wearing Chicago Bulls uniforms,
Yeah.
which you would have seen that highlight forever with the Dodgers wearing royal blue, or I should say Dodger blue
Yeah.
alternate jerseys, which is unusual in itself,
Yeah.
against the Chicago White Sox wearing red and black
Yeah.
Chicago Bulls basketball jerseys
Yeah.
for what could have been a perfect game and then later a no-hitter. That would have been one of those wacky things that you see forever. And you go, what team are the Dodgers playing here,
Right.
Daddy? I'm scared.
It's that new major league team in Portland that they're playing. That's the red and
Ah,
black. Yeah.
right. Yeah, it does. See,
Uh,
there's Michael Jordan batting. That's why
right.
they got the.
Right. Oh, who are they? The Birmingham Barons? Is that who they're playing? Oh, that's my first minor league baseball reference of the episode. All right, Chris, we've been hitting a breakneck pace here with all of these articles that are on the website and all these news stories. World Cup, championships in two different leagues. You've got a couple of different things going on in Major League Baseball. Let's pull back. Let's take a breath. Let's talk about some of our YouTube commenters.
Hmm.
What's going on YouTube? What do the YouTubers have to say?
Well, first of all, we're terrible because we forgot to read the YouTube comments last week. But and the people responded by not commenting on our last video. You know
Oh
what?
no.
We deserve it.
Oh no.
But we did get one comment at Kilo One, who's a frequent commenter. Thank you, at Kilo One. His avatar is a ripoff of the Chicago Dogs. Remember them? the minor league baseball team
I
or the
have
Frontier League, I think they were.
I have been to a Chicago Dogs game. I've been to two Chicago Dogs games, in fact.
Now they don't put ketchup on their dogs at the Chicago Dogs
No, no,
game, right?
no. And in fact, they have a mascot who they've got a like a good guy mascot who's a bottle of mustard and a bad guy mascot who's a bottle of ketchup. They take their no ketchup and they use hashtag no ketchup on their social media. Like they're very
Oh.
serious about you don't put ketchup on a hot dog.
I read a story somewhere that somebody put out ketchup and they changed the label to say Chicago style sauce, and everyone who put it on loved it.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's very funny. I don't have an opinion on that. I sort of don't like ketchup in general. Like I don't like ketchup on my French fries. I'd much rather have like a ranch sauce or something like that. So
Oh,
yeah,
it's because you're sophisticated.
it's true. It's that French major
Um,
coming up again. They love ranch dipping sauce in France.
uh, okay, well, at Kilo One with the
Yeah,
Chicago Dogs avatar, he says, I think we talked about it was the episode with Andrew Lind, and we talked about the Sacramento Kings logo and how it
oh
had
yeah,
or didn't have mountains in it.
yeah. Or
I still say
does.
it does, or
Yeah,
does. I still say it does.
yeah,
But at that point, you brought up the Portland Rockies,
yeah.
and Kilo One points out that the Rockies did indeed have mountains in their logo. Um, and he also would like to give a shout out to the Columbia Fireflies, as we all should, for their glow in the dark merchandise.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you for pointing that out at Kilo One. Okay, going back a couple of episodes to the ones that we forgot last time, please, be kind and comment extra on this one to make up
yeah.
for it. At J Scam with a 7 Up avatar, he or she says, "Great show. I've listened to every episode and I love the fun comments and anecdotes. Thank you, J Scam." He would like to see a segment about uniform trivia about oddities and such. I agree. I think we should do
Ooh,
that. That'd be fun.
yeah.
We're gonna do minor league trivia on you one day, Paul. Just wait.
I can't wait for this, Chris.
At Rolly3 loves the Calgary Cannons content. Oh yeah, we need more
Oh.
Calgary Cannons content on this show. He likes that. Well, he mentioned that he saw Alex Rodriguez play in Calgary in
Wow.
1994, among other great memories. Now, of course, the Calgary Cannons, they moved to Albuquerque and became the Isotopes. That's how they came up in our episode. At Rolly3 points out that they played at Burns Stadium. He does not make the connection that Mr. Burns is a Simpsons character and Calgary moved to Albuquerque to become the Isotopes. I
Wow.
made that connection myself reading his
You
comment.
did. And I
Um,
recall when we were talking about that we mentioned that they were the Salt Lake Gulls before they were the Calgary Cannons. And I love that
yeah,
old
and
Gulls logo.
we got, the minor league teams of the 70s and 80s have pretty much been lost to time, and I really got to do a deep dive on that with you and your Portland Beavers t-shirt. I don't know which iteration
I
of the Beavers that is.
I am wearing a Portland Beavers t-shirt, one of the earlier iterations. Like the one I think that people remember is sort of a roundel with a beaver, like more of a head. This is an anthropomorphic beaver holding a baseball bat in a batting
He's wearing
position.
like wool flannel pajamas, it looks like. The
Yes,
kind that have a flap so you could use
yeah,
the restroom.
he's got like a red onesie on. It looks like so.
Oh, it's a flap for his tail.
It's the flap. That's why the flap is there. He's re
I get
he's
it.
repurposed the bathroom flap for his own tail. The Portland
What else
Beavers.
we got here? We got some quick comments here. I'll throw at you. At JBig65 loves that we called that Brewers logo Motra Bame. I wish I could take credit for that. That's been around a lot on the community forums at SportsLogos.Net. The creamer boards, as the people call it.
Mm,
I assume that's named after me. And someone points out that the Carolina Panthers 100% do not use Carolina blue, which yes, obviously, I was just stuck in the moment there and I had to say something. I had two people looking at me.
uh,
At Laser PDB, who is our friend from Quebec, he wishes we'd mention the Bridgeport Islanders again. I don't know what he's talking about. We talk about them every episode.
they're on the rundown. We got them
He
for today.
he mentions he has a Quebec City Carnivals cap.
Oh,
And I don't know if you've seen the Quebec City Carnivals logo, but that is one of the more finer minor league logos out there.
hmm,
The Carnival in Quebec City, for those who don't know, is a winter festival that takes place in Quebec City. And the mascot of the Quebec City Carnival is if you've seen him in person, he's absolutely frightening. It is a snowman come to life, shaped like a man who walks around, not like Frosty,
yeah,
way scarier than Frosty. He has a little red hat on, and he's always smiling.
yeah.
If Anyone here remembers the music group Men Without Hats
Of course.
in the 1980s? They had a hit called Pop Goes the World, in addition to Safety Dance. But in the video for Pop Goes the World, Bonhomme, the mascot of the Quebec City Carnival, is in the video. I had to turn the TV off every time Bonhomme showed up because I was 5 years old and terrified, and Bonhomme
Yeah.
gave me nightmares. All that to say, Paul,
Yeah.
the Quebec City Carnivals had Bonhomme in their logo and on their cap.
I'm looking at photos of this mascot right now, and it is definitely nightmare fuel, right? Like the smile, as you say, frozen on his face. I don't think you said that, but I thought it when you said it. Chris, I'm trying to encapsulate what he actually looks like, and all I can say is nightmare fuel. Like I can imagine little 5-year-old Chris Kramer turning off the TV and going back to
Ooh,
drawing Hartford Whalers logos instead. So
ooh, that was much more comforting to draw my Hartford Whalers logos. And congratulations to the Hartford Whalers on winning the Stanley Cup. I'm
oh
going to get
man,
a lot
too
of hate
soon.
mail.
Too
Oh, I'm going to
soon,
get a lot of hate
Chris.
mail from Connecticut. But the Hurricanes wore Whalers jerseys this year multiple times. The only thing that would have made this final better was if they played the Colorado Avalanche and they decided to wear their Quebec Nordiques jerseys, and that would have been
That would have been great. We should have more
fantastic.
throwbacks in playoff games.
I
Yeah.
can think of a couple off the top of my head that did it. I think the 49ers did it in the Super Bowl back during the NFL's 75th anniversary season. They wore
Yeah.
their throwbacks. And there was an NBA final, 2003 maybe, and it was the Nets and the Spurs. It was an all ABA NBA final. And
Nice.
I wonder if that's the only time that's happened. But the New Jersey Nets celebrated the occasion by wearing ABA uniforms for one of the games, complete
Well,
with NBA Finals patch on the jersey.
of course, it's like wearing an America 250 patch on the side of your Blue Jays cap.
Ah, there we go. Full circle. Paul, I think it's just about time
Oof.
because we've only talked about minor league baseball, geez, 5, 10 minutes already this episode. I went on a whole soliloquy about the Quebec City Carnivals.
We talked about my t-shirt.
You talked about your T-shirt, yeah,
Yeah.
which is great for an audio-only show.
Yeah.
I could deal with at least one more minute
Before we do
of
that, Chris,
minor
I
league.
just need to point out that this is an audio only show about logos and uniforms.
Well,
It's not just my t-shirt, Chris. It's the entire premise of the show.
one day we'll do a video version of it or
Gonna
something. I
be
don't know.
it's gonna
But
be great.
Paul,
Yes.
one more minute. You got just one more minute of minor league baseball talk before I'm out of here. I'm going to split. I got some World Cup soccer to watch. I need to see what Egypt's wearing. I need to see what Haiti's wearing. I need to see what, I don't know, how many stars the U.S. jersey has on it so I know how many World Cups they've won.
50. We already
Paul,
said that.
give me, yeah, 50 World Cups. It's been a run for the Americans. Paul, let's go.
It's the minor league minute with Paul Caputo. Paul Caputo. It's the minor league minute with Paul Caputo. Paul Caputo. It's the minor league minute with Paul Caputo.
I'm quoting all over the place here. All right, Chris, we're going to go way back to a defunct team here in my current home state of Colorado, the old Rocky Mountain Vibes. The way was cleared for the Rocky Mountain Vibes when the Colorado Springs Sky Sox moved to San Antonio. The Helena Brewers moved down here, and we had the Rocky Mountain Vibes. My favorite thing about the Rocky Mountain Vibes is how that name came to be. They had a name the team contest that famously included the Rocky Mountain Oysters, which, as most listeners probably know, is a nickname for bull testicles. That name did not win the fan vote contest, although maybe it did and they just never let anyone know. But what did win the fan vote contest was the Rocky Mountain Happy Campers, which was going to be the team's name until 3 weeks before it was unveiled. 3 weeks before it was unveiled, they got a phone call from the president of minor league baseball, which was a thing at the time, and this team was affiliated, who told them that you can't be the Rocky Mountain Happy Campers because there is a marijuana dispensary of the same name less than an hour away. And so they had to make a quick change on the fly. They thought, what represents that vibe of being a camper in Colorado? Were the Rocky Mountain Vibes. They've got a s'more named Toasty, who is their mascot, was their mascot, no more. That, Chris, is your minor league minute.
Okay, so I assume that Toasty's not the mascot anymore because he was on fire in the logo, right? Eventually he just
He was on fire. He's not the mascot anymore because sadly that team is no more. Of the recently defunct teams, that is one of the best brands to say goodbye to. That's a grandiose brand, and it's a terrific brand. I mean, Toasty the S'more. I've got a great Toasty the S'more t-shirt. It lends itself to Colorado marijuana jokes, which I find sort of tiresome. Those just feel old to me. But it's a terrific logo and a hilarious story that they, like, the minor league baseball somehow got wind of there's a marijuana dispensary called the same thing and you can't be that. And they were like, yeah, we know, but we didn't think it was a big deal. And they were like, no, it is a big deal and you can't do it.
So someone in the commissioner's office of minor league baseball was searching marijuana dispensaries around,
Right.
because they're just looking because
Yeah.
they want to know where they can score before going to the game, and they're like, oh, whoa, wait a second.
That was, by the
Okay.
way, minor league baseball president Pat O'Connor back before Major League Baseball took over minor league baseball.
And they kicked Pat O'Connor right out of there.
That story was told to me by then president of the Rocky Mountain Vibes, Chris Phillips, for the article I wrote about that team on SportsLogos.Net back in 2019. So it's a very funny story. I mean, it seemed that the biggest scandal was going to be like, oh, what if they're the Rocky Mountain Oysters and we've got a team named for bull testicles, fried bull testicles.
Yes. Let's make that clear.
Right, that's an important distinction.
Don't worry, folks. These testicles are made for human consumption, so it's okay.
By the way, the place that is best known for Rocky Mountain oysters here in Colorado is a town called, no joke, Severance.
Ba-doom-tsh.
It's not a joke. Give me your rim shot all you like. It's not a joke. That's what the town is actually called.
Oh, I don't want you to hear. I don't want you to say testicles and rim shot in the same sentence.
Oh, no.
For-
We're going to lose our Apple Podcast clean rating here for totally clean usage of those names.
I'm talking about drumming in minor league baseball. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm pretty sure that article you wrote for the website is the only headline in the history of our website that makes use of the word testicles.
Of happy campers and bull testicles, the story behind the Rocky Mountain Vibes. I had it up on
Did
my
we-
screen too.
Did we ever see the Happy Campers logo? Was
I
that
think that
ever
the
an
Happy-
alternate identity, or?
No, I think that the Happy Campers logo was basically the same because they had, I mean, this was no joke, 3 weeks before the season began, right? Like, and this was a different time. This was before Major League Baseball took over operations, so you could do stuff more quickly. But they basically just used all the assets that they had in place and swapped out. They used the same, custom font that Brandios designed and everything, and they just swapped out Happy Campers for Vibes. Of course, it's not that simple, as you know from logo design, but they were able to use the existing vibe, as it were, and still make it work. But it was something where, like, that team genuinely thought that our season's going to start in 3 weeks and we don't have a brand.
It's the same thing that happened to the Seattle Pilots, and they ended up with the Milwaukee Brewers, which we love to this day. Paul,
Yes, Chris.
I do want to know one last thing, though.
All right.
Yeah, we're talking about World Cup a little bit here.
Yeah.
It's about as much as I'm going to talk about soccer in any hour of my life.
Sure.
But there was this World Cup qualifier. It just popped into my head right now. Back in March of 13, I think, where the U.S. played Costa Rica. Do you have a story about that? It was in Denver, right? It's close to where you are.
Near Denver. It's in Denver the same way the airport is in Denver. Dick's Sporting Goods Stadium is, they describe it as the outskirts of Denver. It's really like 20 miles away. It's not close.
Oh, in my defense, that when I was pretending to just come up with that, it said on your thing, it's in Denver.
It was. And they advertise it as being in Denver, right? Like, they'll tell you, like, this thing happened in Denver, but it's the Denver airport is also in Denver. I'm finger quoting.
You keep up this technicalities and this pedantits. I'm going to send you a one-way ticket to Severance, and you're not going to be a happy camper.
Wow, that is very good, Chris. Everything that you just did is very good.
Too late. Don't backpedal now. Don't butter me up.
Chris, I have been, or at the time anyway, I had been to one sort of high level, non-high school, non-child playing soccer game in my life. I've actually been to another one. I went to one in Memphis right before that team. It was a minor league team folded. But that was, that's neither here nor there. I saw one of their very last games and then the team folded. It's like the Memphis 909 or something. It was the, but no, this was a World Cup qualifier, a CONCACAF match between the United States And Costa Rica had a friend who was driving down from like Nebraska, and he was like, "Hey, I've got an extra ticket. Who wants to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll go to a soccer game. I love a sporting event." And when we got there, the snow was just picking up. It was like, "Hey, we're supposed to get a little bit of snow tonight." By the end of the game, I was wearing my Jimmy Rollins flap hat Phillies cap. By the end of the game, that cap had about 6 inches of snow accumulated on the hat. And I was moving around a fair amount, right? Like, so the snow was really coming down during the game. The United States won 1-0. And the Costa Ricans protested the game after the fact because of the conditions, and that protest was denied. But I remember thinking, like, I don't know that much about soccer. I'm going to go to this game. I'm going to check out soccer. Maybe seeing it in person will really inspire me to grow to love the game. I'll see how the game, flows in real time with my own human eyes. And instead, what I saw was this just like absolute travesty of professional athletes trying to kick a soccer ball in this snow. And they would kick it, they would send the ball, 2/3 of the way down the field, and it would just land with a thud and get stuck, right? Like you could see all the players expected the ball to like bounce a certain way, and they were all running, and then they would all like, I don't know how there weren't like 4 ruptured quads in that game, right? Because they were like doing all this starting and stopping. But that game back in March of 2013, March 22, 2013, remains to this day the only sort of World Cup level soccer game I've ever seen.
What a memorable game too.
Yes.
Like, right in the snow. Like, that's incredible. And what
Yeah.
could be more close to Denver than a game in a snowstorm? You gotta love it.
Yeah.
Sorry, who are they playing? Colombia, you said?
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica,
Yeah.
right.
Not
a lot of
known.
not a lot of snow in Costa
Yeah.
Rica. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that does remind me, I'm gonna piggyback off your story there because I don't in March of 2013, who knows? I wasn't doing that, that's for sure. But in 2021, when Canada was trying to qualify for the World Cup in 2022, one of the games was against Mexico, and that's like a big, we're not going to beat Mexico, right? Or
Mhm.
Canada, we're not going to beat Mexico in soccer. But it was played during a heavy snowstorm in Edmonton,
Mm.
and it was, I don't know what this is in Fahrenheit, -9 Celsius, which I think is somewhere around 10 degrees Fahrenheit, give or take. I might be
Okay.
wrong there, but it was snowing really hard. Canada got up to a 2-0 lead right away, and the second goal that they scored, which ended up being the game winner, the players celebrated by jumping into a snowbank behind the goal. And it just felt like such a great Canadian moment. Like, welcome to Canada's soccer world. Here we are. And Canada ended up qualifying for the World Cup for the first time in about 40 years. And, and 4 years later, now we're actually hosting World Cup games. So the power of snow.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah. We both have soccer snow stories. I will say that the World Cup this year prevented my group of friends in the Curved Brim Media podcast network from doing our annual Curved Brim Media meetup. We were going to do it in Buffalo and Toronto this year, and then we realized like that the weekend we had picked was smack dab in the middle of the World Cup, and all of the hotels in Toronto were like $700. So maybe
That
next
could be
year.
a problem. Yeah. Well,
But
maybe
we'll be
next
in
year.
Iowa instead.
Oh, that's pretty much the same thing, I think.
We're going to Cedar Rapids, and we're going to see the Quad Cities River Bandits in Davenport, and we're going to go to the Field of Dreams site. It's going to be great. You should come, Chris.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, since since I'm in the neighborhood, if I can get across the border, maybe I'll
There is that, isn't there?
go. Hey, so episode 16, you got a few more numbers. Do you want to just throw them out there? I'm looking them up as you're talking. Dwight Gooden, he wore 16
Yeah.
with the Mets.
I
Go ahead.
recall that last year's Rookie of the Year, AL Rookie of the Year, Nick Kurtz wore number 16.
Aha, good.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut right there. Like, you went all the way back. So I'll finish this off with one for the Leaf fans. Stanley Cup Finals loser,
Oh,
Mitch Marner, wore number 16 for the Maple Leafs last year.
Oh.
My Maple Leaf fans are very, very happy that Mitch Marner lost the Stanley Cup Final. It's not fair to hate on Mitch, but still, it would have really hurt to see him win the championship. I know Paul has no idea what I'm talking about. That's fine.
I just
25% of our 500 viewers know what I'm talking about.
I just was queuing up this Bridgeport Islanders story, and then I realized we're out of time, Chris.
We don't have time.
No, but next week we'll get to it next week, Chris. The Bridgeport
You
Islanders.
know who wore 16 but also played for the New York Islanders is Trevor Linden.
Wow.
So
That's a great
That's our
poll right
Bridgeport
there.
Islanders. Yeah.
See,
Wow.
foremost expert, Chris. So, well, Bridgeport Islanders next week, episode 17 next week. Time to start thinking about that.
Ziggy Palfy also wore 16, Paul. And he played
Well,
for the
obviously,
Islanders.
I just thought that one was so obvious we weren't even going to bring it up.
Yeah. Well, I should have known better. Is the episode over?
We're done.
Okay. Well, goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next week.